Get into your podcast.
He wasn't really projected to be that guy like that. So it was interesting seeing the Wayne rise because when the Cash Money thing started, he definitely wasn't. It was juvie, like for real, for real.
And then look where he at now.
Right, but he was ahead of the curve. He was the first one to left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we in the building. It's the Artist Podcast. Let's see if I can get a smooth introduction on what the Artist Podcast is. I've been thinking about this. I've done 3 episodes and I have not done a smooth intro yet. But the Artist Podcast, we're gonna make dope art with dope ass creative artists as guests with us, and we're gonna have dope ass conversations as well. So basically we're making a lot of dope legally, so don't be on our back. It's all legal dope we're making, guys. But the Artist Podcast, I got my guy. I barely even know this guy, but I feel like I know him so well already. It's crazy. I just met him like a week ago, but his name is Frederick Douglas. My man is one of the most versatile cats I've seen in a while. Like, and I take pride in being versatile, so I'm not gonna, I don't know, but he's up there. He's out here. I'm not about to rank him or nothing like that, but my dude does a lot of different stuff. What blew my mind, the first medium of his that I saw a couple drawings and all that. Quick intro on how I met Fred. Me and my guy Carlton were going in an art exhibit and walking all over the house, and I'm looking for a bathroom. I'm in a hurry. I gotta go bad. And then my man Fred comes out like, yo, this is the room you want to go in right here. Come in this room right here. This is the one. So we go in there. Well, I'm like, hold up, my dude, hold on. I gotta pee so bad, but I'll be right back. And I came in there when I'm like, man, I gotta go see that guy. I told him I'm gonna come back. Whoever that guy is, he was funny. I gotta go see. I go in there and I'm blown away at these little sculptures that are on the table. These sculptures, like, you can hold them in your hand, like in the palm of your hand. The way I describe it, if I can describe it real quick, think like Disneyland. Think like them little Disney logos with the towers and all that, but you can fit it in your hand, and it's made out of erasers, yo. All erasers, and he cuts them with his X-Acto knives, and I'm not sure how he puts them together. I see super glue on the table, so he just gets down with these erasers, X-Acto knives, and super glue, and makes these wonderlands. Like, I got some castles right here I'm looking at. He got lights in the inside of them. It's really, really dope. But Fred, it's been dope getting you on here, my man. Really, really nice meeting you. I'm so glad that all of this happened so fast. The East Austin studio tour is really, really dope. I think just for the sake of things like this, I'm really, really blessed to be able to meet guys like yourself. But how would you describe your style, or how would you describe whatever it is that you do as an artist?
Well, man, hey, man, Frederick Douglas Moore, a.k.a. Mr. 21/7, man. I'm humbled, man. Appreciate to be on your podcast, man.
Yeah, man.
This is love, man. What I do, man, you want stuff, right? So you create it. I wanted to have a whole city, you know what I'm saying? I wanted all the little buildings. I like buildings.
Okay.
That's my favorite shit. For some reason, I like buildings. You know, growing up in Spain a lot of my life, it made me love castles.
Dang, you grew up in Spain?
Yeah.
Wow.
I grew up in Spain and America, though. And in a whole bunch of different cities in America.
Okay.
And in Spain, just in pretty much one place.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing all these castles and shit coming back and forth across the ocean, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to create those kind of castlescapes, like on the tabletop.
Right.
So I just started doing it and stacking up little chunks of eraser one day. And eventually, you know, my sister came in there and knocked the whole goddamn city down. Everything just fell down. It was just little stacks of shit. She was like, oh, my bad. I'm like, fuck. The big booty earthquake. You know, so right. I had to start gluing them together, man. And just gluing them together, I created a whole city. You know, by the time I was 17, a couple of years into it, I started, carving into the pieces, And
you did that when you were 17?
I finished that when I was 17. I started that when I was 14, 15, 16. Finished it when I was 17.
All right. Eventually, I'm going to have a tech guy to do all this stuff. But for this, I got to take a picture of this before I leave.
Yeah. And
just so we can put this right here in this segment so people can see that you made that when you were 17.
Well, I can describe it. Imagine if you had a computer table. I took the computer off the table and I created a whole city with buildings, up to, 1.5 feet tall for the skyscrapers.
Wow.
I made little buildings out of eraser, lit them up with lights and everything. And it took me 3 years, off and on, just making buildings and concentrating. And I can owe some of that concentration to the art, to the fact that if you thugging in the streets and you ain't got your thugs with you, then you a target. So sometimes I would just lay low, cause we was in Spain. Spain there's a lot of violence against any kind of black people in the streets for the young people though. So it was like if you out there, Hispanic or whatever, black, Puerto Rican, Dominican, you might be a target to some of the gang members out there.
Damn.
So I wasn't the type to, just back down and say, oh, blah, 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 sorry. A lot of people were pussies. Man, I'm like, man, I'm from blah, blah, blah. I'm from America, we rough, blah, blah, blah. So running my goddamn mouth. So I be fighting everybody all the goddamn time. So, these motherfuckers was trying to kill me, 60 deep and shit. Throwing me in the walls and, like knocking me out, choking me out in the streets, stomping on me, you know what I'm saying? Stealing my shit, so
damn,
I thought I had some friends and shit out there. Yeah, man. They couldn't even have my back, so I was like, fuck it, fuck the world. At a young age, I was like, fuck the world. I was like, I sat in there and did this shit.
So this became a quick escape from a lot of that bullshit, basically.
And when I went back to the United States, I didn't have to worry about that shit because I'm strapped over here. We got pistols, AKs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So Negroes don't fuck with each other over here like that. And if we do, we just box and shit. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like in Spain. These motherfuckers are trying to stab you and shit.
Wow. So you're saying like because there's violence here. And just like you pointed out, there's guns here and there's a lot of gun violence and things that's going on. But comparatively to Spain, you're saying like the level of violence isn't as intense as it is over in Spain?
These people in Europe don't have guns for a reason because they would all have killed each other just like Chicago.
Wow.
They're violent. This is you got to remember this. The modern day Europeans descend from the Vandals. Think of the word vandalism. I'm just saying that's really what it is. So if you put two and two together, these people have adopted Christianity as a way to civilize themselves because it comes from the ancient ancestors, the black ancestors from Egypt and Ethiopia and shit.
Right.
And they took it to an extreme. You understand? In Spain, they was killing all the women off who had Rh negative DNA, who were more psychic. And they would say you a witch. That's where that whole thing came. The witch, the bitch. Why is a wizard a good thing and a witch a bad thing? So that's why there's a lot of violence over there. So they got guns illegal over there for a reason. Now, they got us with the same mentality here in the United States, living in the same kind of cities like Florence, like Rome, the same kind of little cities where all the little violence went down at. Look at us, Chicago, Dallas, same little shit go on, skirmishes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Over territory, over land, over licks, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
So yeah, there's the same violence, but here in the United States, you can pop your guns off and shit, and then shit ends real quickly. Over there, it's all about how much men you got with you. It's not about how much firepower you got, because I don't have no firepower over there. So I was one against the world. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's an interesting take. I never thought about anything like that.
Wow,
that's deep. So in a closed-minded sense, you know how like people ask, "What do you do?" In terms of the art, is sculpture. Is that your main medium in your opinion, or when someone asks, "What do you do?" What would you say?
Man, I'm a sculptor. I'm a rapper. I'm a singer.
Hey.
I'm a fashion designer.
Hey.
I'm a video producer. I'm a music beat producer.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a martial artist.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
You draw on paper as well.
I'm a drawer.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I like to create sacred mandalas. That's what I call them. Geometric compositions like the ancestors used to do, and I put prayers on them to enhance us as a people, to enhance our spirituality. That's what I do with the drawings. So yeah, I like to lift people up. And then some of the music that I do, a lot of it's kind of negative, and then some of it's positive too. I got some good stuff, but I would consider some of the music I do negative in that I'm praying to the mother goddess. They will call her Kali, She's taking off heads and shit. She's the one who has a belt full of people's heads. She's been killing all the men, the unrighteous men. So I had that, so I feel like all that shit is just different aspects of the human personality. So I like to put all that stuff into the art. I can inspire and I can also, you know, create depth with my words.
That's interesting. Yeah, I did that. I did that with my music too. My music's. I joke about it now because like I didn't think about it in retrospect. It's easy to think about it in terms of like why it quote unquote didn't pop or get more attention or anything like that. Just I didn't make shit that people were wanting to really sit down and listen to. People trying to party, people trying to kick it. They're not trying to think about deep psychological issues and shit. Like, I'm dealing with life experiences in my music and shit. And in some terms like how drill music took off, and even though it's not really as popular now, but it is in a sense. And
I love drill music.
Yeah. Some drill music, like drill music when it first started, I think was like at its core was excellent. Could kind of transition into some other shit, but I mean, besides the point. Sometimes you can talk about some deep life issues and it does work, but you got to do it on something that still feels good, like how Andre 3000 did on that Hey Ya song. That's a deep song, but it sounds good. It feels good when you hear it. But when you really like read the lyrics to that track, that's just
deep.
dark.
I ain't even read.
Right.
I don't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I haven't even read the lyrics in a minute. I ain't gonna lie, so I can't like fully have a synopsis on it or nothing like that. But I've been told and just the research in terms of that, and it's crazy how that works. You just got to put a positive spin on it. So I can relate to that. But because it was therapeutic for me, at least, getting a lot of my shit off. I was really diving into the deep, dark parts of my mind when I was talking about music and trying to overcome some of that same shit in the process of making something that I felt like sounded good. But I like rapping. I can rap my ass off. I just, at this point, I'm cool. I'm cool on rapping. We'll see what happens in the future. Sometimes I hear beats and I'm still like, yo. And there's still some beats I haven't rapped to or whatever. But how long have you been rapping?
Well, I'm 28, so I started rapping when I was like 18.
Okay, 18. Okay.
Because before that, I just basically would chill and listen to everybody else rap.
Right.
In the hood, man, motherfuckers was masters.
Right.
At age fucking 12, 13 and shit.
Especially if you young and black. Yeah, everybody. When you young and black, there's really a few things that we see that, at least in my opinion, that we can immediately aspire to in terms of being some sort of drug dealer of sorts, going and playing ball, whether it's football, basketball, something like that, or rap. That's the main examples right there of what we have to do in terms of like people that we see. Or of course you can work in a factory job or something like that and just do that. But like we all want to aspire to do something incredible in life. At least I feel like we do. Not many of us are just okay with just chilling at the crib. And some people are. For those people, that's totally fine. I'm not judging that by no means. But yeah, I feel you, man. But that's a whole nother deep. Yeah, we got in some deep talks prior too, so you got my mind going. Yeah, that's just funny how that works. But what I was trying to get at basically was some of your first art memories, because you kind of broke down the sculptures and
well, let's talk about it.
When did you like? What's some of your first art memories like as a kid? I feel like those are always like really vivid.
Well, let me tell you this. I was making, I had the little G.I. Joes, the small ones. The 3/4 of an inch. Of course. So my pops used to get those for me at the corner store and shit. The Eckerts and shit. They don't have them no more. Man, so I used to make. He would help me. We would make little fortresses for him and shit. And I used to just cut out boxes and shit and make that for them. And I had made a whole fortress by the time I was 11. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was in there. Bunk beds. There was like a turret that spin. There was all these little. The dojo with bags and shit, mats in that motherfucker with nunchucks hanging on the wall, and it was all to scale. And you could take it apart and you could like pull out drawers and you could see inside the building and shit. And it was like it had a helipad at the top. And so I was doing that when I was 11.
With G.I. Joes?
Yeah, with the G.I. Joes. It's actually
you was gluing them shits together and
taping. I used tape. And I even created my own action figures, man, when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I would get Q-tips and have them bend at the joints for the arms with like what's that shit called? You know the bendy shit. The little trash bag ties.
Little zip ties.
Yeah, I used to use the trash bag ties to make the action figures.
That's crazy.
And so those are my first art memories. And then I made my own comic books, and I could show you the comic book, man. It was called Thunderheart, and it's all about the Native Americans and the black folks kicking the white folks out of the goddamn country.
You made a comic book.
I don't know why. I made a comic book about that when I was a little kid, and I didn't even understand
How old, like
it.
elementary school?
I was
school?
probably maybe like 8, 9.
That's crazy. Damn.
That was my first comic series, and it was all these American Indians, dude, and they was like, they had to recreate their utopia because it was getting exterminated, you know what I'm saying, by the settlers.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So they had to break out of prison in the beginning of the movie. It was all about breaking out of prison. And so I feel like that's how my life had been. Like, you had to break out of the prison of being nobody.
Yeah.
We come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? We ain't nobody, really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have no knowledge of self.
Right.
You know, you could be a 33rd degree Freemason out here and you don't even know shit about some real shit because that's a religion. You bought into this shit. So everybody just bought into this reality and we didn't, decipher the code. So that's what it's all about. My first art memories was about breaking the fuck out of prison.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word, yeah. Right, yeah. And for those who it's tough to empathize that for basically white folks, like, is what it is. But for those who like care to actually understand, it's because there's the optimistic rebuttal. Well, we can be anything now. Yeah, and we can at this point, kinda. We can, but we've seen Obama, we've seen the Jay-Z's, we've seen a few Will Smiths, we've seen a few that got out in the Oprah, some that have done some phenomenal things, but like we were saying, like we see the examples. It's really hard to go and be the president or government official when you don't know any black government officials. You never grew up and saw one. I don't know any doctors that grew up. I don't know any government officials. We don't know any vets or anything like that. So those outside the box jobs that pay a lot of money, like, there's not that many of them that we see an example of. And typically people in general, we do a lot of things based off of things that we see. We're creatures of habit. We see our parents do things, older brothers, people that we look up to, our role models. Typically we pick up things from them. So this goes back to the rapping and drug dealing.
Everybody rap, everybody drug deal.
Right, yeah, but and plays a sport, because those are the most common examples of things that we see. But if you really, really even want to get even deeper into it, we don't even own that. For real.
Nah.
Look
what happened with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Look what happened with all the players, man. Come on now.
But this is heavy shit, but it's real shit though. Like, yeah, it's a frustrating thing in a sense, because
that's just how I felt as a kid. I'm not saying, see, I'm half white, so I can't even say I'm half European, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I hate white people or nothing.
Right? Yeah, it's not about that.
I hate pretty much all people that ain't conscious.
I feel you. Yeah,
so that's most of the world. So fuck y'all. But no, I'm just kidding. I got love for everybody out here too, and that's the thing.
Yeah, you a good guy.
It's just a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
But those were just the feelings of being black in America, basically.
Yeah, real talk.
You know what I'm saying? That's just, so those were the first art memories. But from there, man, I wanted to create these cities, man. I wanted to create something so beautiful. So a lot of brothers and sisters here in America, I was showing pictures from Spain. They'd be like, what's that, Disneyland?
Right, yeah, and that's what I just said. Yeah,
for real, they would tell me that.
In my vague description, that's the first thing I said. Think Disneyland, and it can fit in your hand, and that's what he's making from sculptures, right? And that's what I'm glad I asked you to articulate it as well. Yeah, I'm really glad I asked that, because we all have our preconceived notions of what we think we know. Yeah, but that's dope though, because you really have taken this mentality of not having, it seems, in terms of these amazing architectural buildings and these oasis cities that you're showing me, you've taken the not having much and you're making your own lands and manifesting your own versions of that sweet life and giving it to people. That's fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's a crazy ass outlet.
I got one right here. I
think you saw it already. To say the least, is a crazy outlet. Yeah, that was the one I saw. And the reason I thought of Disneyland is because of those type triangular towers and those different not spirals, but the different edges that are coming out in certain directions and the colors. And yeah, man, that's fucking crazy. How long did it take you to make this one?
This one took about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
It's the most detailed one I've ever made. I usually these are tiny little cities that fit in your palm with maybe like 200 buildings or more.
Yeah.
And basically, this one took a long time here because I wanted to make the baddest one I could ever make. Yeah. So I could say, man, I can't sell it for $5. I gotta sell it for $1,500 if I'm at least.
Right.
Eventually, I could sell it for whatever, but
Right.
for now. But I still do this because that's part of the fantasy world to escape this harsh reality of America. And it ain't even that bad in Austin, man. Because when I go see my people in Dallas, they get killed every other day. And if you know anything about East Austin, they don't even publicize what's going down. We done lost brothers, like, from my neighborhood. We done lost 2 per year to violence, gun violence.
Right.
And my neighborhood ain't even that big, 2-1. So they keep on wiping our people out here secretly. You know what I'm saying? All over the world. So, we got to pay attention. So, I make this shit to inspire the youth. But, hey, man, a lot of people don't respond to this in my environment, in the neighborhoods of Texas or whatever. So, that's why we make the music, too. You know what I'm saying? I say we, I'm talking about the ancestors because I'm talking to them and they ringing and shit. You know what I'm talking about? You see the numbers and shit?
Right.
144, 444 in the morning, all that shit.
Yeah.
Shit starts happening to you. But, yeah, man.
So, it seems like you've kind of alluded to a few things. It seems like if you had to pick, I guess, a favorite medium, what would it be? Even though I think it's tough for me to do that too, or if you could at least
my favorite medium,
articulate why you like going into some of these mediums, because I feel like different mediums tap into different emotions and it becomes a different outlet of sort, right? You can kind of use different mediums as a vessel to let out things that you might not necessarily be able to let out in certain things. So even if you can't pick a number one, because I feel you, that's really, really hard.
Yeah. I would say that the reason I draw is because I like to put the beauty, like show the beauty of the black woman or the woman in general. I like to show the beauty of the woman. That's why I like to draw, really. Okay. That's the whole reason I draw. Okay. And that helps me make these mandalas. Okay. You know what I'm saying? With all the geometric symbols and all of the symbolism tells 1,000 words.
Dollars.
Yeah, mandala. It means mandala, yeah.
Mandala, short for mandala. Okay, yeah. I didn't want it to get mixed up, like getting bread, like paper, getting like money.
Oh, dollars.
Yeah, dollars. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, which one's he talking about? Which dollars? Yeah, my bad. But go ahead.
But drawing mandalas is kind of like how you do the flower of life. You know what that is?
It's that, vaguely.
It's the circle pattern that it's like it's this here. It's a 6-pointed star, basically. Okay. And you do it by making circles. So the Egyptians used circles to make, drawings, and by fitting images of the man and woman into these circle patterns. Okay. That's how you get these sacred mandalas, which means sacred map of the universe. Okay. That's what a mandala is. And the key word is man. Man means human, man. That's where the word comes from. It's a word from India. A lot of the English language comes from Egypt and from India. Believe it or not. Indo-European, languages, Egypt and India. That's where all of our shit comes from. And so by studying all that stuff, that's how I can express the beauty of the woman in the different languages, the different women from around the world, the different goddesses throughout the ages. And I'm channeling the energy of those goddesses and gods through the drawings and through the prayers that I put on the wall. These mandalas, I put prayers on them sometimes in Tibetan or in hieroglyph or in just any language you could think of, in the Sanskrit languages. And so I'm basically bringing power. So I do that through the drawing. So I really can't rate that. That's when I'm doing that, that's the shit, man. And then I carve it out of the wood. Like I take a drawing, carve the whole fucking thing out of a 2x4. You know what I'm saying? Take like a month to carve all this shit out.
So like you carve it like in engraving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I have one here. No, yeah, I do. Look.
Yeah, that's crispy.
And that's what they print on, like the fabric right there.
Huh. Okay.
So put your hand on that fillet.
Yeah, that's nice.
So when I'm carving this out, man, I can't. This feels so good, man. To carve these things out, it's called relief carving. Yeah. It really relieves you. I think so.
Right. Yeah. It's a very. Yeah, I remember doing some relief carvings in some of my classes.
Man, it's the best
definitely
feeling.
A therapeutic type of thing. It's hard to describe. It feels nice to dig into something and carve out of it and just to literally tear away at something that's not damaging someone else's anything. It's nice to be able to do that and just, I don't know.
Man, it's so good.
Right, yeah. Which yeah, and you've kind of already alluded how sculpture is an escape in terms of just the settings that you've been in life. So I guess that answers that question in terms of how what you get out of sculptures. And kind of you did that with rap as well. You said that's a way for you to get out some of those more. Not I don't even think it's negative. It can be negative, but it just kind of depends on how you look at it because it's a healthy way to get something out that doesn't necessarily become real. I think that's and can it? Yes, for sure. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just it's good to get out certain things. Just like we walk around and be like fuck and just say things that we know we shouldn't necessarily say, but it just feels good, like cursing and all types of different things. And I don't know. We all have our little outlets and ways that we get it out. So as long as you're doing it and you ain't hurting nobody, shit.
That's why I rap though, cause the world is so fucked up and shit and unconscious and shit. So man, sometimes if I'm gonna say it to people that's gonna hurt their feelings, I'm just gonna say it in the song, just
same.
Rip it.
You know how many people I've wrote to in song,
yeah,
and never told them what song they're on. But yeah, it's funny. I love telling people like thank you for the inspiration. Like I wrote a song about you, but I'm never gonna like tell you what song it is. If you can't figure that out, then that's on you. But yeah, that was always a fun little thing. That was a really fun little thing to do for real. But that's me and my ego.
And see, man, I be freestyling so much in the hood, man. People be like, man, you gotta record that shit, dude. You gotta record.
Right? Yeah. Have you recorded an album or a mixtape?
Oh, I got 3 of them.
3 of them?
3 of them.
That's what's up.
I got plenty of songs that's unreleased. Yeah, I got plenty of them. Yeah.
You gonna put them out?
Yeah, I'm gonna put all that shit out.
I'll show you the CD. Yeah, you should put them out on Spotify and all that shit. Yeah,
I got them on SoundCloud right now. A couple of the new ones.
Okay.
I do English and Spanish music, reggaeton type shit.
Yeah.
You know, my first shit was just rap and shit. You know, and I make the beats and shit. So.
Right. And
all that
his
shit.
flows are really, really nice too. I came in here and he immediately just started rapping, and I'm not easily impressed. Like we said, everybody raps, so like I'm not. When I see another black dude that's talking about rapping, like I don't even tell people I rap just because that everybody raps. Like Jay-Z in the 444, I would tell you I'm the realest nigga rapping, but like it's not even a statement. Like it's really not. Like who don't rap? So it's like whatever. But yeah, he's nice out here. He's really nice. I was very, very impressed. So which medium do you think, this is a better question, I think, in terms of what's your favorite? You shouldn't have to pick a favorite anyway. Fuck it, do everything. But which ones do you spend the most time on, you think?
Well, probably the eraser.
The eraser sculptures?
I've got so much of it.
You got a lot of those. In terms of complete pieces that I've seen, you have way more of those than any. You have a lot of drawings here too, but I'd imagine you're a little faster at that than putting one of those together. I'm familiar with drawing speed time, but this looks like you said, that one piece took 3 weeks. What about those bigger ones over there?
Yeah, some of those have lights off in them and everything.
What's the longest? I got you. What's the longest sculpture you've ever taken time on?
Well, I would say this one took like 2 years.
2 years. Wow. That's incredible.
But you know, I was doing it off and on, you know.
Right,
if
yeah.
I could sit there and concentrate, I would say the one that was in my show the other day, it's a red one, it took about 2 months. And I was sitting on Congress selling my art and working on this on a daily.
That's incredible. So you work on multiple sculptures and just keep going on and off on some of them?
Yeah, because sometimes I lose motivation for one project and start another project.
Of course. It's the most healthy thing to do. I can't stress that enough for any artist to
but you see this?
do multiple things. Yeah, is that licorice? Or like
looks like candy? It, but it's actually eraser.
That's
it. Long cylindrical eraser
that you can just twist them up and you glue them
the
together.
Inside of it, yeah. And so this been through some shit, man. It's traveled across the seas, and it's been to Spain, and it's been to New York.
Yeah, it looks like it's been through some battles.
Dude, I was 20 years old.
Game of Thrones-esque. 20.
Yep. No, I was 20 years old, trying to become somebody and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to New York with this in my backpack, going up to the P. Diddy building and shit, trying to show them this, trying to give them my mixtape and shit. You know, nobody paying me no attention.
Of course not. Yeah.
I'm going and talking to some video producer called D. Mitch down in the Lower East Side in the projects over there. I'm like, man, I gotta get out the hood, man. I got this mixtape, man, blah, blah, blah. He's like, man, where the fuck do you think you at? You in New York. Everything is the hood over here. He's like, everybody doing the same shit you doing. I pulled this out my backpack. He's like, man, I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life.
You're right. Me neither.
You know.
nuts. Wait, all right, time
We
out.
gonna do
This
it.
guy came in and showed me this. It's cardboard and it's folded up and taped up to make like it's a trailer home for his GI Joes, which it's taking me back to when I had my wrestling man. I was me and my wrestling man and my little wrestling ring. That's all I had, and that's all I needed for years. My family swore I was gonna be on them wrestling man for life, yo. It's crazy. Then video games dropped, and then I transitioned into that. But this is crazy. Like you've clearly always been a builder. Like you made your own house.
It's the command HQ, and this little upward triangle was a symbol from the Spartans. My pops was real into the Spartans and shit, and it also means pyramid.
It's crazy.
You know, so I'm all into the goddamn ancestors.
The male
shit.
version of the Barbie Dream Home. But
Exactly.
this was for the G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And man, I'm telling you, it got way more developed over the
Yeah,
years, man. It became like borderline like
he put furniture inside for the G.I. Joes. He drew pictures of guns on the walls because the G.I. Joes, they're fighting. They fighting the bad guys. So he needs the guns, of course. So he drew the little guns on the wall, and that's where they go over to get their guns, probably to reload and do all of that. This is like the reason I love this shit, because like stuff like this, I feel like a lot of parents can underestimate sometimes, because this is a clear sign of someone who had a creative mind at a young age. And I feel very fortunate. Like I was just on Instagram thanking my dad, dang, you got another one. See, this is way more advanced. How old was you when you did this one?
My pops made this whole thing for me.
Oh, your pops made this one for you.
He made it out of balsa wood. I made this. This
dope.
was one of my pieces. I made out for
Made
a
the
house.
roof out of the popsicle sticks. Yeah, that's crazy.
Here's Yoda's house right here.
Yoda's house. That's fly, man.
Got little bookcases and shit.
But see, that's dope. Yeah, your dad embraced it and let you just go ham with the building and all that. And I think that's really, really important for parents, because all kids have that creative gene. We all use it in the craziest of ways. And depending on how you entertain that as parents and let them really go off to do their thing, can open them up to, I don't know, because it was weird for me. I took it for granted. Like my dad always let me be creative and all that, and people were trying to push me into art school, but I was like, and I just wasn't really for it. But then the moment hit where I just stopped after high school, like I was saying, and I drew a picture of Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne was kind of in his heyday still.
When he was popping, yeah.
Yep, yeah, and that was the rap guy to me. So yeah, that's why I drew a picture of him.
Right.
I graduated in 08, so
Yeah.
this was like Carter 3 had like just dropped.
Yeah.
So yeah, around like 09ish. Yeah, that's when he got on the scene, and yeah, it was crazy, man. I drew Lil Wayne. I drew Nicki Minaj after that, because I was like, damn, Lil Wayne came out better than I thought. Then I drew Jimi Hendrix, and I always remember the feeling of looking at the Jimi Hendrix before I drew it, and I looked at it in amazement, thinking there's no fucking way I'm gonna get this jacket with all these intricate jewels and his chains and the guitar with the strings. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. But my dad always said I'm hard-headed, so I tried it anyway, and I put it probably took me like weeks to do that shit. I was so slow at drawing.
How big was it?
So slow, just a regular piece of paper, so just like these. But this is my reintroduction into the drawing, and so it was on line paper. I was that unconfident about it, like just drawing on cheap-ass, terrible line paper, just because I'm not thinking I'm about to make something that's just going to spark a whole next gear into the next wave of my life. I didn't really think about it like that, but after I drew that bitch, I promised myself I wasn't gonna stop again after that. And
Life changed.
yeah, and since that moment, life has been way smoother. And now, granted, I went through a lot of bullshit, went through a tragic little breakup, and did some dumb shit in relationships, and got arrested, and went through some crazy, crazy transitions in life. But as soon as I knew what I wanted to do with my life with art, and I had the art dream that I kind of broke down earlier for you, with just putting a platform for other artists, life has gotten way, way easier because I have a purpose now. And it's still frustrating sometimes. I know what the treasure is going to be like. I know what it's going to be like, at least in my mind, but I don't know how to fucking get to it. So I'm still going all over the oceans, pointing this way, it's this way, and I'm going all over the place. But I've been on this mission ever since, and it's been dope. But enough about me though.
Like
Just-
mine thing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
man, I just gonna say the same thing, man. This whole Sacred Mandala series, the first one I ever did was between the man and the woman because I wanted to strengthen the relationship. You know, I wanted to strengthen the relationship between man and woman. I'm really feeling these women. You know what I'm saying? This woman, I love her.
Mhm.
You know, I really want to strengthen that relationship. So I created this out of the love for a woman on line paper.
Right.
And I didn't know it would become what it became. This kind of put me into the world. I started selling my own clothes, putting my designs on T-shirts. Then I started making pants,
Right.
headbands, you know what I'm saying, skirts, dresses, sewing all kind of stuff with my auntie over here.
Right.
You know, and it's all started on some line paper. Didn't know it was gonna become something. So you never know that little seed that you planted 1 year, 2 years ago. I started doing that. I did that in 2014.
Mhm.
So now 2018 coming up, 4 years into it, I've made thousands and thousands of dollars off of the drawing, the
these.
first drawing that I did with that little line paper.
Because you're putting these on T-shirts and shit.
Put them on T-shirts, put them on posters.
That's
I
wild.
sell the originals for a couple $100 a piece.
So could you, if you don't mind, explain that process in terms of how
Yeah.
you got into the selling it on T-shirts and stuff like that? Like the
For
literally, who do you find and
Oh, for
talk
sure.
to? And because I know it has to do with screen printing a little bit, but how did you get into that? Because I think that's a big thing. I've always wanted to get my art on T-shirts, but never really knew the right people or probably didn't know how to communicate the best.
Well, I first did a class in ACC, man. They was telling me to carve out that wood block over there.
Mhm.
They said do it with a Dremel tool. I said I can't get the detail that I want with the Dremel tool. I really couldn't get it.
Right.
So I carved it out by hand, printed it onto the fabric like that,
Mhm.
and then
What do you mean by hand though? What'd you use instead of a Dremel tool?
these X-Acto blades.
The X-Acto blades.
Yeah.
You did the wood with the X-Acto blades.
Took a long time, and my hands became really rough. I'm doing it like
Right.
crackhead hands, you know. But from doing that, man, the prints I would make, the wood block prints, I could only make so many of them because the wood blocks get messed up if you push on them too much. You know, I was using a brayer, like a glass ball, to smooth in the ink into the fabric to make it soak up the ink. You know what I'm saying? Like smoothing it on the damn thing, the stamp. And I was selling them for like $100 a piece, so a lot of people couldn't afford it, but they loved the design so much.
On the shirts.
No, it was on those big things right there.
Oh, these.
It's like a tapestry, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people couldn't afford that, and I couldn't
Right.
afford to sell it for $20. You know what I'm saying? All the
Right.
time and effort and the price of the linen, price of
How
the
much
ink,
did it take just to make one?
probably like $20.
$20.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to make a little profit. Yeah. So what did you do? How did you get to a
They
compromise?
said, "Can you put that on a T-shirt?"
Oh.
So I said, "Well, how do I do that?" So it took about $200. So me and my brother went and got a job in the neighborhood in the East Side. We went and got a job together, and he gave me half of his paycheck because he knew I couldn't get the money up because of the child support situation. So he gave me half of his paycheck, and that's how the whole fucking thing got started. I got a couple of screens, you know, that thing,
Yeah. You showed
the
me
screen
one of
printing thing,
Mhm.
and I started making T-shirts, man, and people buying them up, dude, buying them up.
them. So that's all you need is that and some T-shirts, and you can
Mhm.
put that and then whatever that type of is the ink or
Yeah, it's like right there. See it? Little
that's all you need.
screen printing ink. And people always say, well, I need a press and I need to get, first I need to get a press and all this shit. You don't need none of that stuff. I've made a lot of money off of it just doing it on the ground,
By hand.
doing it on the floor,
Right.
out the mud. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have a water hose to do it so you can
How
rinse
much you
off the
selling your
screen.
tees for?
I sell them for 20, 2 for 30.
$20.
You know what I'm saying? I used to sell them for
So you just buy
25.
some cheap T-shirts and then boom, you're in there.
Mhm.
Right? Because it doesn't cost as much. Because it costs $20 just to make one of those on the
Yeah.
tapestry.
That's why I
which
sell those
looks
for $500,
amazing.
$600.
Right, and it looks amazing. Yeah, that's okay. See, you just gave me a lot of game because I've done prints and I've done print sales, but I haven't done many different prints on many
Yeah.
different things. Like I haven't done on a T-shirt yet, or a tapestry, or aluminum prints. Man,
Yeah.
these aluminum prints look so fucking amazing. I cannot wait to get some of these animal prints on there. I'm about to sell them for like 1,000, bro. At least 1,000. At least 1,000. Like, man, and you really put me up on game too. I don't think you really knew how much you blew my mind on the first impression when you was talking about the guy that sold something for 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said somebody else. This is amazing.
I never finished that. That's one of them prints on the copper.
And you told me that somebody else sold something for 1,000, and
Yeah.
then you just threw it in there. He's like, all you need to do is sell one.
That's it. You ain't gotta sell a bunch of stuff. So
Oh, you
t-shirts are
just
good
sell
for
one.
when you coming up and you learning the art game.
Right.
But as you get more into this shit, you don't even want to sell t-shirts. You just
want
want
to
to
put it
sell
on
one
something
piece.
big and sell one.
Yeah.
Cause that's all you need. A $10,000. You know what? $10,000
Yeah.
will help me out for a long time, bro. I can
Mhm.
budget that for like 5-6 months, easy.
Mhm.
Probably longer than that, for real, for real.
You could flip it. But the
Man.
thing about the t-shirts that I still do is, the reason I still do it is because I want people to get these designs, and I include these charts that you see here. So you can start learning all the shit that I learned to help me advance. A lot of people say, man, how you know that shit? Well, I had the time to learn and listen to a lot of great masters and sit at their feet and just learn.
That chart right there, yeah, I didn't even realize that has all.
Yeah.
It has everything.
So we can learn what's going on. So it's not just, oh, that's a pretty piece of art. What the fuck does it mean? Nah, man, you get the chart to go with it so you can learn all
So
the
when
shit
you
that I
go to
know.
a museum and see some Egyptian art, you're having a whole different experience because you can
Yeah.
actually decipher all this shit, or do you?
All of it, no, but you know,
But a lot of it though.
some amount of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like having art history class and then going over to Italy. It was incredible, and I immediately understood and was like disappointed in terms of how serious I didn't take art history classes, just because I wasn't entertained with the format. I've never been entertained with the format of history classes. To be fair with all history teachers, it's just not just that
Bullshit. They're teaching you fake history in all these countries right now.
word,
Whether you're in
yeah.
a capitalist country or communist country, they got
Right.
their own little regimes to teach you the fake bullshit. You come from giants.
And maybe that's why, yeah, because the history I'm learning is never my history. So
Nope.
maybe that's why I'm not entertained. I never really thought
Nope.
about it like that.
You get into this
But-
history that I be learning
right.
about, you be
Right.
in
You're
love
a
with
lot
the
more
shit.
entertained when it's your people that you're
Mhm.
actually hearing about, which, yeah, it's something to think about. Damn, for my damn self.
You're gonna be in love with the history of your people. Look at this shit. They talk about, well, you don't have a Torah or a Bible. Nah, motherfucker, you got pyramids. You got goddamn ancient civilizations. You got alchemy, means the science of chem. Alchem. Chem is chemet. That's where the word chemistry comes from. You got ancestors who they call aliens. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers built massive cities 200,000 years ago.
Right.
And they was in power for thousands of years. You only seen America been around 250 years. You see America's power all over the earth in 250 years, right?
Yeah.
These people control the universe. They fell off though. And we about to fall off too if we start blowing shit up with nuclear bombs. They already blew each other up with nuclear bombs. We went into the ice age.
Right.
Nuclear winter.
So for this mandala piece that I'm holding, this would be nice to take a picture of too. I'm gonna take a picture like this, that, and a few of these, so the viewers can see what I'm seeing, because this
Look.
makes it that much better.
Let me
But,
grab it.
so on this is a copper plate I'm holding right here. On
Yeah.
this, because it's black on the front. Did you put something over that and then draw on it?
Yeah, you put up with the copper plate. You have to do it. So it's a big process with the copper.
I feel like I should know this because I've taken printmaking class. Is that just ink?
That's that black stuff that you see on the copper. That's wax.
It's wax.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you don't even want to put your fingers on it or nothing.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause
and-
it'll come off really easy.
Yeah, and
So
that's-
what'd you draw on the wax with?
That's chalk.
Chalk. Ah.
So I had an image. I put the image on there, pressed on the chalk paper behind the image, and it left a chalk impression on the copper plate. And you carve out what you want to carve out, and whatever's carved out will become the etch. Then you dip that in acid, and then the acid will eat away.
Yep. And the printmaking. Yeah.
I never finished it because I don't have all that equipment because I don't want to go to ACC all the time.
It's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I could get it if I wanted it, but you know that's not what I want right
You
now.
needed chemicals and shit too.
That's
though.
too much shit,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah. You need a big ass space and the chemicals, and yeah, it's a process. Printmaking is so fun though. Man, shout outs to you, Mr. Labor, because damn it, that class put me through the most. It was so difficult for me for a little bit. Photography was what was difficult.
Yeah, me too.
Printmaking was a little difficult as well because I had to learn to appreciate my line work more versus just being smooth with the shading. Because I draw portraits, so
Yeah.
I can do shading all day, but being strategic with my lines and being confident with my lines. He just complimented somebody today. Shout outs to you, Dupree, because that drawing was dope as fuck. Painting, I think, actually. My bad. Might be a painting with drawing on top. He's expressive, so, man, it could be a few things. But just being confident with line work and it's a thing that I'm slowly transitioning to it, and I can challenge myself more on that for sure. I just love capturing the essence of a person so much. I don't think I'll ever get out of just doing random practices like these that just take a few hours to do most time.
It's beautiful. You really do capture them, and that's crazy because the shading is something that I need to learn too. And it's like you coming around, man. I can see this shit up close.
I feel the same for you because like I said, this is all line work, bro. Your line work is fucking phenomenal, dog. Like, yeah, I can learn a lot from you just watching your process, and I'll be excited when we get to the point of like doing multiple episodes. I'll definitely want to get you back on here for one of these. I don't know, man. We'll have to think about what we want to show first. You sculpting and making some of these, or you actually sitting down and drawing shit? Because your drawings are out here too. These mandalas are amazing to say the least.
Oh, thank you.
But let's see how. I was gonna ask originally because all the sculptures I saw were super small like this, so I was gonna ask why so small, because I feel like that would be difficult for you, right, in terms of placing some of these things in there and all of that.
Okay, why so small? I always like miniature stuff, and also growing up in Spain, we had a real small little house in the project, so I just had a little bit of space to put shit, so I just wanted to make small shit. Okay. Plus, I think I was Chinese in another lifetime or some reincarnated. They always make the little miniature stuff like it ain't shit. I just make it out of eraser. Chinese do this shit all day with cork.
Right.
Or it don't look. It's not the same though. So that's why
people do
what I do is different.
Cardstock as well. Have you ever fucked around with cardstock much?
Well, I know what you're talking about though. I know a dude who makes whole cities out of toothpicks. He sold the whole city for $30,000.
Crazy. The only thing I've seen that's fucking incredible. What I was gonna say is the only thing I've seen even close to similar to this is someone on Instagram who takes pencil lead.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Seen that guy and with X-Acto knives, just like you. He gets down and makes the Eiffel Tower on a fucking pencil.
This shit is crazy.
This shit's incredible, dog.
There's a dude who do it in the center of a needle with like a thread needle.
Yeah.
He's a brother to do it in the center of a needle from England.
I wish I knew who that guy's name was that does the pencil, but he's already like IG famous anyway, so that nigga's out here. He's out of here. But this is awesome to get to see somebody who does that. So let's talk about like the process and how you construct these, because
man, let's do it.
I can tell you have the shapes of your buildings. Like you might, I feel like in your mind you already kind of have an idea of where you're gonna put some of them. But let me stop speculating and just let you go ahead and just. From the ground up, how do you start these?
So this particular city is on a 2 by 4 inch eraser in the shape of an elephant, right? I got it over there at I got it at the dollar store. So I get a big eraser. I'll find the biggest erasers I can get for these type of little miniature cities, and so then I'll just start by making buildings. And so growing up in Spain, I did a lot of archaeology work with my stepfather. He was the top Roman archaeologist in the country.
Wow.
Man, and so he was specialized in our town area, Avila, Spain, Castilla y León. So we used to go around digging up cities, man. We found the Moorish people, the black people that lived in Spain.
The Moors, yeah.
The Moors, and it's crazy because my name is Frederick Douglass Moore from my father's side.
Yeah.
So we dug up the Moors.
Quick, how do you feel about being named after a black icon?
It's great.
Like a black revolutionary.
It's great because whatever you name your children, they'll take on attributes like that. So they say Frederick Douglass was all into this kind of same shit that I'm into.
That's awesome.
And I think I'm into it because my name is that. And whatever you take on a resonance and shit.
Right.
So don't name your kid shit that don't mean shit.
Real shit.
We named a child the other day. I helped somebody name a child after an ancient Nubian queen.
Wow.
That whole child is gonna have a magical life because of that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people be naming their kids stripper names.
That's funny. But back to the process. Like, right, you bought your elephant now.
I started putting the buildings on there one by one because of the archaeological thing. So I started doing like the Roman type stuff, first. Then I did a little medieval type village, Yeah. Then I did, little park. Then I did some little skyscrapers, And then I did a little bit of a cathedral, like a Gothic type cathedral, but mixing it with Southeast Asian praying architecture, from Thailand. You gotta look these things up too. That's what I'm saying. The internet done changed the world. I've been looking at pictures from all around the world since I was a little kid, gathering pictures of buildings so I could make my own buildings.
Yeah, so because I definitely see certain buildings that do remind me of like Thailand and Japanese cultures, or like this one maybe like Dubai.
Exactly.
And there's definitely, and then there's more traditional ones that are more Americanized, and like that looks like a church right there. So you kind of combine on each of these. How do you? I'm trying to think. How do you know where to put certain buildings? Because you make a lot of different ones. You just make a whole bunch of different ones first, and then
Yeah, so I start making each neighborhood by neighborhood. So there's one neighborhood that has like all the buildings have red roofs in it, and they're like stately buildings, almost like a grand imperial palace. And I call that the university section. And as you walk in through the gate here, the gate is guarded by 2 white elephants. And then you go in there, and that's the main square right there. And you come out here, and then you go into another neighborhood that has little houses like French medieval houses and shit. And I call that the ville, petite ville. And that's where the Haitians live. And the Haitian neighborhood is a rich neighborhood where everybody is craftsmen and artists, and they all sell their stuff to people that's coming into the city, and they're into magic and stuff, and they teach people magic and shit. It's a magical area. So that's the Haitian petite ville. That's where they live.
like there's little trees and shit, y'all. Like
The trees are pink and yellow because it's a different type of world that they live on. They don't live where
fucking beautiful.
And this was the first building too. Here, right here, is the castle. Sometimes a lot of the cities are built around castles in Europe, or just anywhere in the world. Even America is built like New York is an ancient ruin. They're not gonna talk about it. They want you to think that they bought it for $25 from some Algonquin Indians. You know what I'm saying? That's an insult. The whole island of Manhattan, that's history. They say, yeah, we bought it for $24. Don't believe no bullshit like that. It's all built on ruins. So I built this whole little city up like from the castle all the way up to the whole city. So then you have a little waterfall coming out of the hill here. There's 4 hills. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hills, and the whole city is built on 4 hills. And then to get up to the cathedral, you gotta walk up these steps here. Then walk up those steps there. Then you come up through here. And then you gotta walk up these steps here on the side right here. Just to get up to there.
That's nuts, man.
And so then you got your Harry Potter world, and then you got the Japanese, the Thailand pagodas. You got your skyscrapers, and then you got your little ghetto that's all packed together real tight.
It is. It's super crammed. Like so like in your mind, this is fucking amazing. People live in this bitch. Like you're really you're really thinking about in terms of where people would be at and how they are sectioned off in real life.
Yeah.
Exactly how it is in real life. You're just cramming them all into one. That's fucking crazy dope. Like it's crazy dope. There's just the imagination level on that.
I had different neighborhoods in all the cities. The bigger cities, the smaller cities, and that's how
you've been
it started
doing
off.
that since you started this. Then those are the ones that are stacked. Those aren't even glued, huh?
Not glued, stacked.
Right. So how many times did you make some of these and like people came in and fucked these shits up?
All the time.
Damn.
There's the hood. You can tell where the hood is at. You see it's all ruins and shit. Project buildings.
So I haven't even gotten into the windows and the rooftops and the actual detail work that you do with these X-Acto knives. Like how many times are you doing these and you just hack off the top on accident?
It happens sometimes, and then I just re-glue it or start it from scratch. And sometimes I make a building and I just throw it away. I don't even like it, and it might take 40 minutes just to make one.
There's not even you have had to put in 10,000 hours at building these.
And that's how I had the time to listen to all these lectures and learn about the world and shit.
It takes so long to do something like this, of this level of detail on something so small. Every single detail is just nuts. That's amazing.
You can even see that there's street vendors in here. Anything with a red top on it in this little area here, those are street vendors.
So yeah, you start right in the middle at the big tower, and then branch out. You have to do it like that. Yeah,
well, I started here, and then I started here, and then I went around, and then I made this. But
you started in this corner.
Yeah, I made this building first,
the White Tower,
and then I made these buildings here.
Assassin's Creed looking.
Yeah, I love Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
and I picture that, and I have documents for the different cities, and it describes the neighborhoods, the people that live there, describes the gangs, all that shit. It describe and it's all in imagination. The imagination, the nation of the
How
magi.
much would you sell that one for?
At least 1,500.
1,500.
But really, ideally 4,000. You know,
Right.
4 weeks. I want $1,000 a week at least. At least.
Word.
At least. You know what I'm saying?
So how long have you been selling your work? You definitely have way more experience than me in selling work. I could probably use so much more guidance in terms of that for sure. In terms of like us kicking it and getting to know each other more. But like how long have you been in the process of selling your artwork?
Since 2015.
Since 2015? Wow, it's only been 2 years.
Yeah. And before that, I tried to sell stuff, but you know, I didn't. I sold a couple of pieces when I was young, like 19, 18, 19, 20. And I didn't sell nothing again until I was 25. And then I've been selling steady since I was 25.
So do you apply for a whole bunch of shows and shit? Because you told me something about how you're about to go to Miami, is that right?
Well, with my mentor Frank Frazier, we do all the black art shows across the United States. And then sometimes we do stuff like Art Basel in Miami, which is like a worldwide big huge art show. And then sometimes he goes to Hawaii and does a black medical convention out there. We just did the black medical convention in Detroit, and then we did it in Philly. And those are some of the best shows because those were all the black doctors at. And that's another thing. Me being from the hood and shit over here in Texas, we don't see a lot of black doctors and lawyers and shit. Even though a lot of my family, that's what they do.
Wow.
I have a cousin that lives in Dallas who's a judge. You know what I'm saying? But me going out on these trips with him, I get to meet all these black doctors and lawyers and acupuncturists and physicians and all these rich people. So they really spend money on art because they're investing in the future. And that's how they build up the character and their children too. Their children are the most important things to them. So they buying art to inspire their children. So a lot of this stuff that I make, people buy for their children for $100, $200,000, $2,000. You know, depending on what they invest in their children for their future.
Right.
You know, in the hood, what we buy our kids, fucking Jordan sneakers, fucking chains,
Shit that
fucking fades and shit.
deteriorates, yeah.
We're gonna be a materialistic fuck. In the rich people, what they do, the rich people, they buy their children art.
Stuff that lasts
Mm-hmm.
and can get more expensive as time goes.
Yeah.
It does. It just does. It's inevitable for people like yourself and me and people that just don't stop and just keep making stuff and just keep making stuff that just keeps improving through time and time again. Like just for that reason, I've never really been worried about the prices of things. I've always been I've taken a lot of pride of selling shit on the low, like selling shit for real low.
Nah, that's what I used to do, but man, you gotta love your work too. Like I said, somebody made $10,000 the other day with a painting.
You know,
He didn't even expect
one
it.
time. Right, didn't even expect it.
I know a sister in Miami that I met at Art Basel. She sold a painting for $40,000.
That's crazy.
I don't even recall what the painting was, but that was her ticket for that. She said she only got to do one a year.
Right.
You know.
One.
Yeah, one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one of those.
Look at this shit.
Dog.
This one right here
You
is made out of little cubes.
I've changed my perspective on a lot of things. Just know, people,
Yeah.
this is the moment right here. Like, between this and the first time I met this guy, I've already planted it in my head that, like, yo, this shit can really, really go for way, way more. And I can sell some things for the low depending on what it is. But, like, in terms of an original piece out here, like, yeah.
You got to charge for it.
Yeah. You want an original?
You want the right people to buy it too. That appreciate and respect the art. You know, you don't want to just sell to somebody who's just gonna throw the shit on the shelf and forget about it. Some of the people that my mentor sells his work to are some of the most powerful people, black people in the country. You know, some like Tom Joyner, like Eddie Murphy, like I believe Beyonce has some of his stuff. Eddie Murphy has a lot of his stuff too.
You got a Pai Mei. I've always wanted a Pai Mei.
What's
you
that?
watch Kill Bill 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Kill Bill
What
1
you
and 2?
talking about, Pai Mei?
Pai Mei was the guy who killed Beatrix Kiddo, her OG in that movie, the dude who taught her had her hitting the board time and time again, was hitting her on the head and whooped her ass on the first
he taught her,
visit. Yeah, taught her everything she knew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
Pai
tell you-
Mei.
Yeah, this man is like Pai Mei. You know what he
Pai
did to me the
Mei,
first
man.
trip I took with him? We was going to D.C. This was the second trip I took with him. We were going to D.C. I was driving. It was two cars deep. He was in the front driving his Benz and shit. I'm in the back driving his van, right? I pulled off to go pee, right?
Mm-hmm.
This man tried to kill me. He said, "I'm gonna leave your ass." Fuck, he was mad.
Why?
I've never seen him so mad. He was
What'd
he was trying to come at me with the cane and shit.
What'd you do to him?
Because listen, young people think we can just do whatever, right? So that's what the old people are there for. The Pi made it here to whoop you into shape.
Right.
So that you know that this is some militant shit. You can't run this shit like you can't do whatever you want to do out here. You gotta run according to some laws, some balance and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what he was showing me. And a lot of us young people can't take criticism out here, so that's why everybody's shooting each other, really.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are sensitive out here. But the old people, they supposed to whoop on you and shit. So that's what he do for me. So this particular building right here, man, see the little cubes?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually in the hood here in East Austin. I was cutting up crack rocks in the cubes, 20s, 50s.
What you mean crack rocks?
Crack rocks. Like a cookie of crack, right?
Uh-huh.
From the jar, right?
Okay.
You cut it into quarters, cut it into 20s. I was so petty, I was cutting it into nickels. And I was, selling this shit. And so I stacked them up in an arch, because I studied a lot of Roman archaeology with my stepfather in Spain and in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me try that with the eraser, because I was doing eraser buildings at the same time I was trapping. And so I said, let me try that. So this was the first building where I experimented with that roof style. And this shit right here,
mm-hmm.
This is some of the most crazy shit ever. Like, it's all little tiny cubes put together to make domes.
Are you trying to tell me that influenced this?
Yes, that's how and that's why if you see this,
I was wondering, my G, I don't know where you going, man. I got a lot of questions, but
look, you see how fucked up it looks?
Tread lightly.
Does it look all fucked up? It's a ghetto house. See how it's all lopsided and shit?
It is. It's very,
It's a trap house. I call it the trap house.
Wow.
And it's made out of scraps from another building that I made. So I said, well, we're going to make the hood out of scraps. I made a really beautiful, stately building, right, for the downtown. And so I said, well, let's make the east side, because I always model it after Austin. So I said, well, let's make the east side of the city the ratchet part.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what that was. But shit, that has become something that, I don't think I have any more of them here, but I have them at the show. That's how I do the stained glass windows now, if you can see here.
Yeah, you got stained glass sculptures as well. Like he has, that's so dope. Those are all erasers too?
Yeah.
Just of different colors.
Yeah.
And you're cutting them up into super small pieces and placing them together to fit inside what you already have cut into the... That's your level of this.
One of these go for
game.
$700 right now, but that's some bullshit. I sold one for $1,000 the other day. That's some bullshit. These kind of things, man, at least they need to be, 8 to 10. Just like a lot of people have paintings that are about this big, took about a couple of weeks or whatever. They charge 8 to 10. So so it's all about building up whatever you're doing. If you're selling drawings and portraits and stuff like that, if you're painting on them,
right.
If it's big,
I'm about to start selling some of these drawings for $5, homie. Like,
put them in a frame.
Yeah.
Sell them for $5. I put those in a frame. Sell them for $5.
I hate framing shit, but presentation is important.
Costs about $100.
Presentation is really, really important. Where you go to get your shit framed?
You can go to different places, but I go to a place in Dallas called Blue Bonnet.
Mm.
It's crazy because they frame some shit for me. One of them costs $33 for the frame. The other one costs $44. And that brings you into these numbers and shit, and so you start seeing these number patterns everywhere, and it has to do with the art, the angles, the angels, and you're doing the sacred geometry, and you're tapping into the spirit, you know what I'm saying, and you're tapping into the shapes of the atoms and shit, and Adam and Eve, and Eve is the even one, you know what I'm saying, it's the two-minded nature that you have, the Janus, and you learn about the gods and shit, and you learn about how the gods is just different parts of your body, and Leo is the Jesus, the lion heart, you know what I'm saying. The motherfucking Black Panther is like the third eye and shit. You know what I'm saying? These different totem animals, they mean different things. The eagle is up at the top. The falcon and all this shit.
What belief of thinking is this that you're breaking down for me right now? What is this called?
Well, it's all of them, man. They would call it animism. They would call it See what the Egyptians was doing. They wasn't believing in gods like that looked like that. They was telling you different aspects. Like, how can you describe a primordial energy, right? Well, describe it with a primordial thing, like an animal, the energy of that animal. So what does a cheetah do? The fast motherfucker. What does a jaguar do? They some slick hunting, dark motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? What does a panther do? Same thing. So if you look back on all the priestcraft in the world, they always wore the panther skin. This became Christianity. This became Islam, Judaism. And they all started from Judaism. Judaism creates Islam, Christianity. No, Christianity and Islam. Judaism creates them both. And so it all comes from the animal totem shit, because they're describing primordial energies. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, if you would say like that, I worship and deal with the earth, the stars, the moon. You know what I'm saying? The primordial energies all around. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they really do behind closed doors, because ain't nobody really believe in all these religions. That's all for the outside. That's called exoteric.
So what do you believe in?
The esoteric. You feel me? The difference. Eso means the inside knowledge. Exo means the outside knowledge, exterior. So they always teach the religions of the exterior knowledges, right? Even Buddhism, all that shit. They all have a seed of truth, but the interior knowledge is more closer to the truth, which would be Sufism for the Muslims, which would be Gnosticism for the Christians, which would be Kabbalah for the Jews. You know what I'm saying? And that teaches about the five primordial energies of the universe, right? The mineral, the plant, the animal, the human. You know what I'm saying? The elemental, and you know what I'm saying?
And this is what inspires you on the daily in terms of applying your artwork or just daily life in general?
Yeah, the art, the life, all that shit. I used to have cancer and shit, man. I wasn't healthy, dude. I didn't know about blood type, diet, astrology. I didn't know none of that shit. I didn't know about compatible partners and shit. Because that's how a lot of us are. We don't know about who we are. And so when you get to know thyself, that's when your life starts to improve. So I was going through some bullshit.
That's yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
I
typically don't dive deep into the religions and all that. Like, everybody believes what they believe in. So fair and respect for whatever anybody believes in. But man, I don't know. Yeah. That was heavy. That was heavy. That was super, super heavy.
Yeah, my bag is heavy right here. It's this red, black, and green bag right here. I keep crystals in it. And see, as a people, we already know this shit fundamentally within ourselves. All of us have gold rings, diamonds on and shit, rubies, and gemstones, because we know that these things have a type of energy. And believe it or not, this is what they use to make your technology. This is what keeps information stored within it, in the matrices inside of there. That's how they put it in
computers.
Yeah. Wafers.
That exact thing right there?
They put wafers of these things into computers and cell phones. And some of the new cell phones, the best ones that they have, they gotta go to the fucking Africa and China to go get this shit. So they're killing a bunch of people off to get these fucking things.
No shit. This motherfucker right here in my hand, in small wafers, they slice that. And
that's how they make your technology.
Like cell phones, computers, and those chips that make them alive in there.
Yeah, all that.
This.
They get them from different type of crystals. Diamond. What do you think of diamond?
Do you have a chip or something that's like...
You can see them on the chips if you break them open.
Right.
The little shiny things.
I wish we had something we could just break open right now. And
you've seen them plenty of times. It turns into dust.
I'm sure I have, yeah.
You know when you smash the shit, it turns into like a white dust almost?
Yeah, it's in TVs and all this.
It's all that shit. They got crystals in there. So there's different crystals. There's quartz. There's So that's what the mastery of the elementals is.
And
right
this
there.
and electricity somehow generate.
For instance, they
these
say
frequencies for us to do all of this.
Yeah, what it does is it brings energy through. It's a matrix. It's a portal, basically. That's all these things are. They're portals, and so these are all over the planet, naturally. So that's why when they have a cathedral, right? The cathedral before it was a cathedral, you know what it was? It was a pagan fucking worshiping spot. You know what I'm saying? Before that, you know what it was? It was a goddamn military installment built on top of a goddamn crystal area. They were probably either mining it out, you know what I'm saying? Or they built it there because they knew that the energy from the crystals was going to make the air purified there. Like Manhattan. Check this out. Manhattan is built on top of nothing but goddamn quartz. the whole fucking Manhattan is has negative ion energy coming out of it. Like those little air filters that they remove the positive ions and they bring them out as negative ions. It heals you and shit. Manhattan is built on top of that shit. So that's why you get all the motherfucking hip hop and you get all of the Harlem and the Bronx and you get it's like the capital of the world right now. They built it on top of a crystal reserve. So yeah, the esoteric religions teach you about this. But whereas the exoteric, they say this is devil worship. They'll go kill your people off.
Why?
Shit.
That's so pessimistic. Why would believe in something like
witchcraft,
this?
dude. They call it witchcraft. They call it wizards and shit. All kind of spooky shit. Ain't nothing spooky about it. It's all some scientific shit.
Right. Way I feel is if somebody believes in something, then let them believe in what they believe in. It don't mean it's threatening to you. Like, if you don't agree with somebody else's religion, I just don't understand why people got to be threatened with it. It's not that deep. I mean, I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know.
they killing each other in the wars. All the wars are stuff about religion.
Yeah, it's
and
sad.
the Muslims don't
It's
even
really
realize
sad.
that they're the same as the Christians.
It's really sad. And we all really want the same things.
Yeah.
For real, for real. We just want to live and take care of our families and just be able to live in the ways that we feel are just to maximize our worth, I guess, while we're here on Earth. That's pretty much all we want to do. But to get back to your creativity in terms of that, I mean, that was super, super deep.
This another one.
that was
A lot
cool.
of this stuff is inspired by spirituality and
Right.
different temples
Right.
and religions
This
and stuff.
is how, this is a lot of.
This is a temple made out of clay, and I spun the towers.
How old was you when you made that?
I was like 23, 4.
23? That's what's up. That's what's up.
Spun it out of clay, and then put it together, dipped it in turquoise. And I sold a couple of these. These are popular pieces here. This one actually shattered, man. I was on Congress, and the wind came and blew all my shit over.
Damn, that's tragic.
This one shattered, so I had to re-glue what I could.
That's tragic.
Of it. But hey, man, that's what it's like out here hustling. Sometimes you be sweating
Right.
your balls off, but I come home with $80, $100, $200 just from making T-shirt sales.
One show, yeah.
I'm like, man, that's better than standing out here
how
with
many
some crack packs.
shows you think? Right, real shit. How many shows you think you do a year?
Well, I do, so far this
It's
year.
only been 2 years, I guess, so that maybe not be a fair question. But how many did you do this year? And
Okay, we did
how many did you do last year?
like New York City in February, Miami in December. Did that. Las Vegas in November. Memphis, Chicago in September. I'm
This was all
supposed to go
this
to
year.
Chicago right now. I don't want to go.
Right. This was all this year. So
Philly,
it's like-
the biggest show I did was like I was 2 weeks away from home. We did Philly, Baltimore, and New York. Man, that was the best fucking shows I ever did in my life, dude.
So if you could put a number on it, how many would you guess it's been this year? It sounded like about 7 or 8, but it
Yeah.
sounded you just threw like 3 more in there. So like
Probably like 8.
8? Okay.
But my OG, he do way more than that. But I don't even
Well, yeah,
have
of
enough
course,
art
of course.
to keep
Pie
up
May's
with him.
out here, yeah. Pie May's got
Yeah.
40, 50 years on us at least.
He called me every day, like, "Come on, Fred, we finna go over here, man. It's a
Oh,
show."
man, that's
I'm like, "Man, I
dope
don't
as
got
fuck.
enough art." He's like,
hella
"Bring a
dope,
couple
man.
eraser buildings."
Right. For real, yeah. Bring them, yep.
So he
Bring
inspired
some
me
of
to
that.
sell my shit, man.
It's crazy. And you go in each one of those with like just sell one. All you need is
Yeah.
one.
He pointed him in my
Mentality.
direction. He said, "Go look at that young man. He's the future. Go talk to him.
Did you get-
Trust me. Get a piece now. Get it now. Get it while you can afford it. The
Right.
white people gonna get a hold of him. He gonna get that white money." And I'm like,
I love this dude.
I'm glad I'm doing shows with you, OG.
Right.
He's a
that's
one of a kind
awesome,
person. He'll
man.
say crazy shit.
It's so cool.
One time a white man bought a piece from him, who didn't respect the black cause, you know what I'm saying? The black fight for rights and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? He didn't respect it. So this white man bought a piece for $3,000 or some, some
Well, like, gave him a
astronomical
check?
price. He gave him money or cash or something. He took the painting right in front of my OG and smashed it all up. You know what I'm saying?
He took
Yeah.
his painting and smashed it.
Yeah, after he bought it. See, so that's kind of racism shit. And we were
just to give him the
Yeah.
money and shit on it. Wow.
Look,
like,
we was at the George Bush Library.
wow. What
the
did he
other day,
do?
right?
Time out.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
a lot right there. Time out. Like, what did he do? Did he draw him? Because, like, I might have,
Look, check this out.
I might have tore that dude's
Check this
ass
out.
up, boy. Like, what? That's so disrespectful, bro.
Think
you keep
about
your
this.
money, dog. Like, what'd he do?
Think about this. Technically, it was his. He bought it already.
Of course.
That's how he viewed it. And see, if you do anything in these kind of situations, you know what I'm saying, you know what's gonna happen. So I think he had the money, so he really won.
He did it right in front of
But
him.
yeah,
though.
see, that's the kind of disrespect that goes on. Sometimes when
You
we
could have
travel,
told me you did, and I probably wouldn't have took that as much. But to just give me the money and just do that on me, like,
dude, sometimes when we traveling, they won't even let us go to the bathroom in places like West Virginia and some of these places. They won't. Some people, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but see, there's some weird shit that go on out here. We travel all across the country, everywhere, doing these art shows. You know, I drove all the way from New York City all the way to like Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And then I passed it over to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we driving. We driving
right.
8, 9, 10, 15 hours straight.
I'm grinding. I respect
You know what I'm saying?
it. I respect it. Do you sell a piece in each one?
Hopefully, one show.
No, I'm saying on
one
the ones
show.
that you've had so far.
Yeah, I do. But one time, I didn't go to this trip. It was in Ohio. They went over there for the NAACP
That's awesome.
2 years ago. National. Anyways, nobody sold nothing. And they spent. You know, you gotta spend thousands of dollars to get out there, dude. You
To
gotta
get
rent a
in?
van, or you gotta
Right.
take your van. You gotta fill it up with gas. You gotta provide food. You gotta have workers and shit to
a
lift
lot
all
of
the
money.
art up. You got
Especially if
cases
your
of
shit's
art.
heavy and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got cases of shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have that much art.
Yeah, see, I don't even know how to travel safely like that. I've seen other artists do it with the boxes and the crates with
Yeah, you gotta have a
slits
van
in the
and shit.
crates that you can slit the paintings into to make sure that all the paintings are traveling in those crates safely. And I've seen some of these things, yeah.
If anything, you can we travel together, you know what I'm saying? Me and my sister Saida and Frank Frazier, you know, we always get in the van together. We go sell our shit together. We put in on the gas. We get there, put in on the hotel, and we there.
That's dope.
We be there together. And I asked him, why you help me? He said, because nobody helped me when I was a kid.
Right.
And I said, what do you mean? He's like, I felt as a black artist that other famous black artists would help me come up. And he said, no black artist when I was a kid would help me come up. So he said, now he puts everybody on.
Right.
So he put on people who are selling shit for 60
yeah.
G's.
For 60 G's.
A painting. 60 G's a painting. He put people on that are doing that now. So that's how real it gets.
It's crazy.
He don't even do that.
He don't even do that.
No.
But wow.
So that's how real the art game is. If you really touch the people's heart in a way, you know what I'm saying? They gonna fuck with you.
It's fucking amazing.
And, you know.
It's crazy. Yeah, I love that shit. I've had a few kids. I worked at a group home for a little bit, and I've had a few kids. I called them my prodigies. I had like 4 of them. And each one of these kids, like, granted that, because in this group home, shout out to Clorinda Academy, from 14 to 19, some of these kids will be. So some of these kids had a knowledge of art that was so much far beyond what I was at 16, but it was amazing because I was like their OG, so they respected me so much. But these guys just simply did not understand. Like, I'm telling them, like, yo, if you just keep doing this and keep working, it can be amazing. Well, first, thank you, because I appreciate that. That's really, really kind to say. I mean, I get what you mean, though, like the empowerment of just drawing anybody, really, male or female, just for someone to get to see themselves in a different light, even if you're like cloning the picture, even though I'd argue hyper realism. I feel like I'm getting close to that, really, and I'm trying to like simplify it more so you can clearly tell it's a drawing. I don't want it to be hyper realistic. I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. At that point, you might as well just take a great photo. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to shit on any hyper realist, because I do want to know how to be able to get anything I want hyper realistically done. I feel like that's a great trait to have. For anybody.
That's a
it's
good
just,
skill,
yeah, it's a phenomenal skill just to have in your back pocket and your Batman utility belt of art tricks that you can do. That's always a good one.
That's what I need to get into, for real. Love that.
But I just simply love capturing the soul and just capturing the person. And I do love the empowerment of empowering a woman just naturally because I love women. So just to be able to get to have the trust level, I really appreciate that, to the point to where me personally, I'm so anti sexual drawings, or sometimes I've done some things that read as sexual and didn't know it, and then was like so hurt when it got read as sexual, because I'm like, damn, that's the last thing I'm trying to do. I remember that one moment in college where that happened, and I'll never forget that. But even prior to that, I just really take pride, and I'm never like, anytime I get a woman to come in, whether it be at my home or her home or anywhere where we meet, for her to do a life drawing, because life drawing is amazing. I'm never gonna try and do anything that reads super provocative personally, unless granted she wants that. If she wants that, then yeah, cool, let's do it, because like I'm all for and making someone feel proud and confident in themselves and in their own skin, however the fuck they want that to be portrayed. I think that's the ultimate point, to capture whoever that person is and their emotions, and being able to get that in a still image. And depending on how good you get that, you can make a motherfucker cry off that shit.
Yeah.
Or you can
They'll put some money on it.
right. You can, yeah. You feel me? Like, you can make a lifetime of experiences get captured into one fucking still image for somebody that they can't get from anybody else. Because depending on our all creativity, we're gonna do things different. And just the better you get at whatever your medium is, that's the awesome part about it, is you can really carry yourself in a way to just know and trust that you're not, like, people can't fuck with you. Just not in an arrogant sense. It's just the fact that you are your own person, and people will ultimately, just like the OG was saying, we're in our 20s, and that's why we're not at his level yet, because we haven't got to that point of them knowing us first and then get it. Think about Gambino. If you're a fan of Childish Gambino, how long he was on the grind and got to the point to where everybody knew who he was as a person. And then look what happens. Next thing you know, when he makes a fucking random ass funk album, everybody happens to love it, and just
we was jamming that the whole time we was up there in DC.
Yeah, man, that album's amazing.
Yeah.
Through the comedy and through the constant making of music and evolving through all of those things, getting into acting, and he's just still rising into stardom. He's a pop star now. That just happened from this last couple years. He went into pop star status. You can tell. Look what he did to Bad and Bougie when he gave them a shout out. But he's in his 30s. Like,
that's why we all the artists, people, we didn't stay connected. I have a sister that do these shows named Michelle Elise. She do these shows up in Dallas, man. She gets all the models together. Beautiful women, beautiful men and women, right? And she gets all these good people together, and it's always these black Latino art shows. And she brings all these people together, man. It's just beautiful art, beautiful people, and it's a marketplace, and we're all doing it together. And she brings in companies like Reebok or Nike or something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So everybody is mingling and stuff, and so that's where we can build up the images of ourselves among the people. Yeah. That are already in the industry and stuff.
Damn right. Yeah. Yeah, I could learn a lot about you. Like, real quick, because we got to wrap it up. Unfortunately, I got to go to my work. Got to go to a fucking job. That's quite unfortunate. But where do you see yourself going artistically? Like what is your apex in your mind?
Yeah, I'm about to do some really big stuff in the future here. So probably some buildings, probably some.
You like to be an architect?
Yeah, you know, probably some murals, huge murals, buildings.
Right.
Maybe even plan a village, a city or something. You know what I'm saying?
Make a real version of that.
Yeah.
It'd be ill.
And definitely doing some more wood carvings and some albums of music and just stuff to overall to just entertain, not to entertain, but also to to train you with the different sciences of alchemy, man. So that's why I see myself being an inspiration and a light to a lot of people out here, just through the different creative expressions here. Right. And,
yeah, you a deep dude. You got a lot of layers to you. Yeah, so I can definitely see a lot of kids looking up to you. I feel like ultimately that's probably what I do it for more than anything. Like when I was saying with the group home shit, I've seen a few of them kids that had so much potential. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, kids, you're way better than I was at 16. Like, I was still doing Dragon Ball Z cartoons.
I was doing that too.
Yeah, you feel me? Hey, yeah. I just started doing, like, portraits, and the contrast was so poor. I didn't have any contrast. They were all like light grayscales. I've always been decent at picture likeness, so the most of the time it looked like whoever that person was, but there was no sense of contrast or line work or expressiveness or any of that really. So
it was just Vegeta, Goku, Krillin.
Piccolo. I saw one kid in particular. I told him like, yo, you should do that in ink pen. I think that'd be really good for you if you did the same drawing in ink pen. He was like, okay. Took off, and a few days later I come in and he has this amazing slick Rick drawing in ink pen, and I'm like, dog, I didn't start drawing in ink pen until like a few years ago, kid. Like, you have no fucking clue. Just the fact that you get it that much simpler, or just some of the perspectives that some of those kids were getting, and just so many of the things. Like, and I'm gonna keep growing artistically, and just the more of those kids that you tap into, because like we were saying, like I never had that, and what inspired like the OG. Like, I wish I had some more people just tell me just some of the possibilities.
You want to meet him?
What could happen? Of course, man.
You go to Dallas, man. He'd love to give you some knowledge.
Yeah, I'd love to meet that guy. Shit, yeah, in due time, man. I'd love to. That'd be amazing to get somebody like that on this podcast too. Like somebody with
ain't
that
gonna
much.
He'd be like, man, I don't,
you don't think he would? Right? Yeah,
good.
Maybe I gotta be out here. Yeah, he's super master. You feel me? So yeah, I gotta work my way up. Right?
But he's definitely the person to talk to. I tried to do a video with him and stuff. He was like, I'm good. So I just get him sometimes on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Just to let people know this guy is a legend. Yeah, a legend. But yeah, I want to impact those kids, because every now and then those kids, I'm gonna tell, like, if you just keep practicing, by the time you're 27, you could be a legend.
That's what I'm doing with my daughter, and I'm cultivating that. And you know what I'm saying?
And one of them's gonna believe you, and then the more influence we get, 2 of them can believe you, 5 of them, 10 of them. Next thing you know, you can literally train a whole bunch of motherfuckers that are ultimately better than you. Like, and that's it's the greatest shit in the world to see. Like, some people get scared of that shit.
You create it though.
You can't help but be so proud and just look back and like I've never had somebody not give me the praise for that. So I get the fears of giving someone so much knowledge.
Hell no.
But
my daughter made $40 the other day. A little 7-year-old made $40 while I wasn't even up there. I was downstairs doing security. She made $40. She's 7.
That's hella dope. It's crazy.
Matter of fact, yeah, man.
It's crazy.
And she's making stuff by the time she's 20. She'll be in the game.
That's crazy.
She don't even got to struggle for nothing.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I inspire some brothers from the hood, some young brothers. They got their own record label.
Right.
People want to sign them and shit now.
That's crazy.
You know, that they fucking 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, I'm going to have kids one day. I feel like if I have 3, I want 3 kids, and one of them will be a legendary artist.
Yeah.
Just one of them will...
You got to homeschool, though.
Yeah.
Can't let the school get them, because the school fuck them up.
Yeah, that's deep. But we can't... I wish I had more time. Damn it, but... We gotta have to wrap because I gotta go to my work. So
man, I appreciate you coming through, family. Man,
I appreciate this. This was fucking amazing, to say the least. I gotta take some pictures of some of these real quick too, just so we can have this on there. But it's the Artist Podcast signing out. Got my man Frederick Douglass, Fred, aka what was it?
217.
What's your Instagram? Let's plug you real quick.
It's 217, and then the number's 21. So you spell out 217. And then put 21 in the number form.
On Instagram. Bam. There he is. We're going to keep growing. I'm going to get him on other episodes for sure. And we out, man. Appreciate y'all. And any comments, suggestions, any of that, we appreciate you.
Sungu, esto no es la magia. Boom, 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 que se caen las bombas en tu área. Tú no escaparás. Yo ando con los Goonies, con los Battle. Yo te chupo el sangre, soy Drácula. Vamos a ver lo que pasa. Tú tienes algo para mí, pues ya dámela. No confiamos en nadie. Solo confiamos en la mamá con teta gigante como la de Pamela. Ella, la diosa, la reina, la negra. Nosotros sí vamos. Look, 444. Look what time it is. 444.
Wow, that's crazy. We out, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Oh, shit, it's almost 5 o'clock.